Good day, debaters. Before we start our debate, please set your handphone or any devices to silent mode for it may disturb our debate for today. Welcome to our Oregon-Oxford debate. On my right side, acting as affirmative team is Miss Angelme Villarreal as the first affirmative speaker. On my left side, acting as negative team for this debate is Miss Angel Preampo as the first negative speaker and as the second negative speaker. I am Jay, your speaker and your timekeeper at the same time. Each debater will have a minimum of 5 minutes and a maximum of 7 minutes to deliver her constructive speech. Moreover, each is given another 5 minutes for interpellation and another 3 minutes for rebuttal speeches. Points of information will be allowed during constructive speeches only. After each speech, there will be no point of order, classification, or privilege. Heckling is also prohibited. Are there any questions regarding the rules? Without further ado, let's start. Today's proposition, let be resolved that people should be legalized required to be vaccinated by COVID-19 vaccine. I call upon the first speaker from the affirmative side, Ms. Angelme Villarreal. You have 5 to 7 minutes to argue the need to legally require the people to be vaccinated by COVID-19 vaccine.
To our honorable judges, worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen, the resolution before us today is that people should be legally required to be vaccinated by the COVID-19 vaccine. Let me define some terms for clarification purposes of our debate. Firstly, the term to be vaccinated means to administer someone by a COVID-19 vaccine through injection in order to prevent him or her from being infected by the coronavirus. Another term I want to clarify is that term legally required. This simply means that the vaccination of COVID-19 vaccine must be required under the laws of our country. For an instance, a person who refuses to be vaccinated will be fined and will not be able to enter public places. The affirmative has 3 needs for change. First, we recognize the voluntary approach to be vaccinated will not totally protect everyone, knowing that there are still people who choose to be unvaccinated. Secondly, we affirm that legal requiring to be vaccinated cause no harm to the people. COVID-19 vaccines that are granted with emergency use authorization by the Food and Drug Administration are considered safe and effective based on the available evidence to date. The third support for our contention is that legal requirement of vaccination will push everyone to be vaccinated, decreasing the risk of all of us to be infected by the virus. In the first place, making the COVID-19 vaccination a voluntary will still give people a reason not to be vaccinated. The fact that they are going outside unprotected from the virus will still increase the risk of getting COVID-19 of those vaccinated ones, and particularly to the unvaccinated themselves. Thus remains to grow the possibilities of increased COVID-19 cases. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, approximately 99.5% of COVID-19 deaths in the United States are among unvaccinated people. Likewise, the majority of COVID-related hospital admissions at the scripts are among unvaccinated people. Unvaccinated people are potential variant factories, said Dr. William Scaffern, a professor in the Division of Infectious Diseases and Vanderbilt University Medical Center. For our second point, it is obvious that being vaccinated causes no harm to people. Clinical trials are an important part of vaccine development because they involve evaluating use in tens of thousands of study participants. Before being approved, all of the COVID-19 vaccines went through this rigorous process. When reviewing the trial results, the Federal Food and Drug Administration must determine that the vaccine's known and potential benefits outweigh the vaccine's known and potential risks. The vaccines are approved and in use by the public. Public health officials continue to monitor the data as an additional safety measures. I will now outline our plan, which has need of only point to address each of these needs for change. We propose that the government will legally require Filipinos to be vaccinated by COVID-19 vaccine. In conclusion, the affirmative has demonstrated that there is a clear need for change. You could argue that people have the freedom not to take the vaccine, but I believe this is completely incorrect because it is more intruding on other people's freedom that they will die on an easily preventable death. If we can gain herd immunity as a country, we will be able to resume our normal lives, be free, and put an end to the unnecessary death caused by a preventable virus. I now stand for cross-examination.
Alright. Miss Villarreal, your time is up. First negative speaker, you have 5 minutes to cross-examination.
Okay, so what facts could you give to prove that vaccination should be mandated to people, since it is mentioned that COVID-19 vaccine are considered safe and effective and has an evidence to date?
COVID-19 vaccines were developed using science that has been around for decades. They went through all the required stages of clinical trials. Extensive testing and monitoring have shown that these vaccines are safe and effective. In fact, bringing a new vaccine to the public involves many steps, including vaccine development, clinical trials, U.S. Food and Drug Administration approval, manufacturing, and distribution. Many different public organizations and private companies have worked together to make COVID-19 vaccines available to the public.
Okay, thank you. But if vaccination should be legally required, it will violate the person's freedom of choice. How can you show that democratic country if an individual is forced to be vaccinated?
I don't think your question is relevant because the legal requirement for vaccination has nothing to do with us being a democratic country. Moreover, there will be no coercive power because it will be done in accordance with the law, which means that the people are responsible for adhering it because it is a legal requirement. Furthermore, even we establish such legal requirements, it is up to the people whether they follow or break them. They still have the right to choose, which I believe does not violate democracy. Ultimately, it is for the good of the people, not for their own detriment.
Okay, one last question. A vaccine has long serious side effects, especially to those who have respiratory illness. Is it required to these people to be vaccinated as this is under the law?
As what I have mentioned earlier, everyone who can have vaccine must have one so that the people who can't have, such as those with severe allergies or other conditions, will be protected.
Okay, the time is up. It is now the turn of the first negative speaker to deliver her constructive speech. Today's proposition, let it be resolved that people should not be legally required to be vaccinated by COVID-19 vaccine. You have 5 to 7 minutes to argue the need to be legally require the people to be vaccinated by the COVID-19 vaccine.
Honorable judges, worthy opponents, ladies and gentlemen, we the negative accept the definition of the resolution offered by the first affirmative. Apart from the definition, the negative team is unable to accept the contention put forward by the first affirmative. People should not be legally required to be vaccinated. I will refute the contention now.
Alright, Miss Ampa, your time is up. First affirmative speaker, you have 5 minutes to cross-examination.
Vaccination, as stated in one of your points, should be administered to those who wish to be vaccinated. What about those individuals who were unable to be vaccinated due to their own choice? How are you going to leave them vulnerable to the virus?
To be not vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus is their own choice. It is their right to refuse to do not allow anything they don't want to be injected to those body due to various reasons. They have such as religious and social beliefs and how they thought vaccine has and its effect to their bodies. Perhaps getting injected Getting infected could still be prevented by obeying health protocols and advices of our healthcares.
What makes you think that legally requiring vaccination takes away people's freedom of choice when, in fact, the choice to follow the law and be vaccinated remains in their hands?
Making vaccination to be legally required is effectively removes the freedom of choice of an individual. Forcing a person to be vaccinated is inappropriate. It could also be rough to those who have medications, beliefs, and philosophic views. Any compulsory order would certainly under, undermine trust in our democracy. People shouldn't be compelled to do something that they think is morally or scientifically wrong, as they still not yet know the medium to long term side effects of the vaccines. Though vaccines are considered to be safe, individuals do not want to put risk from potential vaccine side effects, especially to those who have faulty immune system. They should not be required to have vaccine against their will.
Alright, first affirmative and second speaker, your time is up. Second affirmative speaker, Miss Tolentino, you have 5 to 7 minutes to argue why it would be beneficial to legally require the COVID-19 vaccination.
Before I present my arguments, I will be contending once more the definition of the negative. Our opposition proposed that vaccination should be injected only to those individuals who are willing to get vaccinated. They contend that voluntary approach could not increase the risk of getting infected by the virus. They affirm that the vaccinated cause no harm is an unclear fact. For getting vaccines might trigger respiratory illness and allergies if being vaccinated. To start with the first argument, vaccination should be injected only to those individuals who are willing to get vaccinated. If we all badly wanted to stop this pandemic, the vaccination is the best option, and hesitation is not. The vaccination is a great way to eliminate the threat of COVID-19, and not getting the vaccine would mean more people have high risk of being infected. If worried about the vaccine safety, then we have here facts about the COVID-19 vaccines being safe and effective. The COVID-19 vaccines available for use have gone through all of the same steps and requirements as every other vaccines, meeting all safety standards. For the last argument, to be vaccinated causes no harm in an unclear fact. For getting vaccines might trigger respiratory illness and allergies of being vaccinated. Those matters are part of the reaction of the vaccine to your immune system. Yes, there are side effects, but those certain reactions of the vaccine are temporary and do not mean the vaccine has given you the disease. Focus on the evidence that the COVID-19 vaccine causes an immune system response. And that's a good thing because we know your immune system is working, and that's an expected vaccine reaction that don't make you contagious. In conclusion, the affirmative has demonstrated that there is a clear need for change. You could argue that people have the right to refuse the vaccine, but we believe it is not advisable because it infringes on other people's freedom by causing them to die of a preventable death. Now I stand for cross-examination.
Alright, Miss Tolentino, your time is up. Second negative speaker, you have 5 minutes to cross-examination.
How certain are you that COVID-19 vaccine is safe despite the fact that they were developed rapidly?
COVID-19 vaccines may have been developed rapidly, but as to what we have mentioned earlier, all the steps have been taken to ensure their safety and effectiveness. In the United States, the FDA and the CDC continue to monitor vaccine safety to make sure even long-term side effects are identified. Globally, many countries are also monitoring vaccine safety. COVID-19 vaccines are being continuously monitored for safety, and the FDA and ACIP will take actions to address any safety problems detected.
What if a person has an allergic reaction to the medication? Are they still getting the vaccine?
Yes, they may take the vaccination, for it is normal to have certain reaction after a vaccination. These normal vaccine reactions are usually mild and subside after a few days. They show that the vaccine is working. because it stimulates the immune system and the body forms antibodies against the infection that is only simulated by the vaccination. In addition to the typical vaccination reactions, there were also individual cases of sometimes severe side effects after vaccinations, such as allergic shocks, but these are isolated cases. Overall, the approved vaccines are safe, according to the Food and Drug Administration and the World Health Organization. Otherwise, they would not have authorized the vaccines. No, it's impossible that a vaccinated person would be the one spreading the virus. Getting the vaccine is meant to protect not just the person, but also to protect the people around them and all of those who they are interacting with. That's why we are pushing to legally require the COVID-19 vaccines so that the people will be safe and prevent the spread of the virus. The vaccines do not deliver live virus nor do they cause the body to produce virus. So there is no chance for a vaccinated person to spread the vaccine virus to others, even if they have side effects.
And now the time is up. Thank you for your remarks. I now call upon the team captain of the affirmative side to deliver her rebuttal in support of the resolution.
The opposing team has stated a number of irrelevant details. Firstly, the first negative speaker argued that they did not see any reason we provided that voluntary approach cannot help protect everyone, even if there are people who refuse to be vaccinated. In the first place, we did not say that voluntary approach cannot help protect everyone. We only stated that it will not totally protect everyone since there are still people who choose to be unvaccinated. There is a clear difference between the two. Secondly, they affirm that to be vaccinated causes no harm is an unclear fact and that most side effects from vaccination are mild, such as soreness, swelling, or redness at the injection site. Serious side effects include seizure or even life-threatening allergic reaction. However, they did not include that these side effects are usually minor and temporary, and those seizure side effects are possible but extremely rare. According to the World Health Organization, any licensed vaccine is rigorously tested across multiple phases of trials before it was approved for use. And regularly seized once it is introduced. Scientists are also constantly monitoring information from several sources for any sign that a vaccine may cause health risk. Moreover, the benefits of vaccination greatly outweigh the risk, and many more illness and deaths would occur without the vaccines. Thirdly, the negative side stated making vaccination as a legal requirement is not appropriate. Why would it be inappropriate when it is for the common good for our country? Vaccines are made to protect us from the virus, not for our detriment. The Department of Health even stated that vaccination is an important way in protecting yourself from getting severe COVID-19. Lastly, they argue that legally requiring vaccination effectively removes the freedom of choice. Well, you could say that, but this pandemic thing is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love, if we want to go beyond this crisis. And vaccination is the best option. We just have to ignore the misconception about the COVID-19 vaccines and just focus with the truth, with science, and with confidence together as a nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally, we have come to the end of our debate presentation. We would like to say thanks to our debaters for the informative and interesting debate. Hopefully, this presentation will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you.